Hi there, my name's Daisy. My cousin Nick has just moved to West Egg, and I invited him to the house to have dinner. It's very exciting to finally see him again. But at the same time, I'm still disappointed since he didn't make it to my wedding because he was at the war. When he came in, I was with Jordan Baker, the famous golf player. We all started to talk, and we came across with something that made me remember him. Yeah, him. Great Gatsby. It all started when Jordan asked Nick if he knew anyone in West Egg, but Nick said no. Nevertheless, Jordan insisted, saying, "You must know Gatsby." But thanks God, the subject was quickly changed as the butler announced dinner. While eating, the butler came back and murmured something to Tom. I bet it was that woman again calling. So I went in to see whom it was. For a moment I thought that maybe Nick would notice. Or maybe he didn't. Would Jordan have told him? What would he think? So anyways, I tried to relax and went back into the living room. Days later, I received a call from Nick, inviting me to have tea. He told me not to bring Tom. I wonder why. What did he want to tell me that Tom came here? Would he want to talk about that woman? Or the fact that Tom and I are not getting divorced because I'm supposed to be Catholic, which is a lie? And maybe he's going to try and convince me to get divorced. So I went down to West Egg, to Nick's house. I arrived to 2 minutes to 4. I went into the living room, and there he was, Great Gatsby. I was in shock. All my emotions mixed together. I felt like my blood went cold as I'd seen a ghost. I didn't know what to say or how to start, so I hoped he would start a conversation, but he didn't. I could feel the tension in the air. So I said, "We haven't met for many years." I tried to calm down, but I could feel my hands shake as he answered, "5 years next November." I didn't know it had been that long. As I looked at him, I had a flashback of me crying on my wedding day as I read the letter, but suddenly I realized that I was still standing in front of Great Gatsby. Nick excused himself. At the time he started to walk away, Jay followed him. And there I was, sitting in Nick's living room, trying to convince myself that it was just all a dream. As Jay entered the room, I realized that Nick had gone. As we sat down on the couch, my legs and hands were still shaking. But when we started to talk, I felt more relaxed. But all of a sudden, tears started to run all along my face. But then I heard some noises, and I saw Nick come into the living room. So I whipped the tears as quickly as I could, and I noticed that he was gone for almost half an hour. Then Jay invited us to his house. At the moment we went outside, I saw a huge mansion, and I just couldn't believe the owner of that mansion was Great Gatsby. And still in my mind, I thought that it was just all a dream that started as a nightmare, but became a beautiful dream in which I didn't want to wake up from. We went inside, and he showed me all around the place, and now my feet still hurt. He showed me everything, even his clothes, his shirts were the most beautiful shirts I ever seen that they even made me cry. The following Saturday night, Tom and I attended to Gatsby's party. Although Tom didn't want and had no interest in going, I convinced him, which now I see it was a total, complete mistake to go. I had an unpleasant and uncomfortable time for the reason that it was weird to be at my true love's house with my husband. I wonder if Jay noticed. Or maybe Tom did. And despite the fact that Tom doesn't know about the past there is between Great Gatsby and me, I wonder if he would even care. So weeks later, I decided to invite Jordan, Jay, and Nick to have lunch. As the day went on, we all decided to go to New York City, which seemed a pretty good idea until Tom decided to confront Jay. And they both placed me in an awkward situation, as Tom asked Jake what were his intentions with me. My mind was completely blocked with emotions and confusion. I could hear my heart go faster and faster, but I decided not to think. I just stand there and hear the conversation. But straight away, Tom figured out the history between Jay and I. After that uncomfortable moment, we all decided it was time to go back. On our way back to Long Island, I went with Jay, and we both decided that I should drive. We were laughing and remembering old times, having such a good time that I didn't notice that I was going as fast as a rocket. All of a sudden, I saw a woman come out of a garage, but I lost control of the car, and I couldn't stop on time. I started to panic, so I kept driving. Jay told me to stop. But at the moment I looked back, I recognized that person who was lying on the road, dead. It was her, Tom's mistress, Myrtle. And now, here I am, in this great sadness, and feeling guilty for Jay's Gatsby's death. And the worst part is that after he sacrificed himself for me, I didn't even attend his funeral. But I just know one thing. Wherever he is, he will always be my only love and the owner to the key of my heart.